Hi, Mikhail. It's David. I'm going to be analyzing your video that you sent me. Thank you very much for sending that on to me. It was extremely helpful. And your screen will look a little bit choppy, but I will be pausing it at certain points so that we can analyze the information. We'll go ahead and start off with your kick, and I'll pause that in just a moment here as soon as that comes by. All right, let's pause it about right there. Well, a little bit further. Okay. Let's take a look at the kick, which isn't critical in triathlon, but still important. We don't want to necessarily have you kick a ton because we want to save your legs for later in the race, but a good kick is pretty important. Now, a couple things we want to change with this particular kick. One is that you'll notice you probably already got this feedback. Look at this huge bend in your foot right there on that part of the kick. We want the kick to drive from the hips and from the ankles, not from the knees, right? We want it from up here, up in this, up here by your hips. We want it to kick here from the ankles. We do not want you to kick from the knees. And so this is a huge bend in your leg that we don't want to see. We want to see it relatively straight and have look at the amount of space your feet are taking up is pretty wide, right? We want to see that more like just this much space in here, that your feet are just taking up a little tiny bit of space instead of this huge wide kick and all that space in between your legs. All this space in here is a little bit too long. And also you're a little bit too far from the top of the water. That's about the top of the water. We want to get your butt a little bit higher. Now that's because you're doing a kick drill, but we can still practice on having your feet be up on top of the water. It's another thing is that your feet are way too low as well. If we were to look at your the distance between this and this, we want your feet again to be taking up a space about up here and not that far apart and not that far down. We want you to be kicking up in this area and not in this area. Does that make sense? All right, let's continue on. We'll take a look at a little bit more of the kick in a moment here. Okay, let's look at it from the side. Let's see if we can catch that. There we go, for that left leg this time. Same thing, it's with both legs. A huge bend here. Lots of distance between your butt and the top of the water. And what we should see in your kick is something like maybe like this, where the bend is very slight, and then a big whip in your foot. As your foot comes out here, we can see a big whip using your foot, but you don't want to use your shins and your calves for your whip. You want to use your foot. If your foot was out here, that'd be perfect. And just a little bend, not this whole thing right here. That's just a big, huge bend, very far from the top of the water.